Hello, today is day 23 of our 25 days of Christmas, and our story is going to be about a camel. And Miss Whitney is joining me again. She was on day 8, but she's come back to join me as I read about a camel. All of these stories are from the point of view of a person, a place, or a thing. And so we're going to find out what it might have been like to be a camel on this long trip. So here we go. Are you guys ready? I sure have been walking for a long time, but I don't mind. My long legs are good for all that sort of thing. Just like me, I've got long legs. No. Before the journey began, I was living in the stable of a king in a far away land. I loved having people visit me, and I especially enjoyed carrying the king around his kingdom. Then one day, the king told me I was going on a long journey to a distant land. I would carry an older teacher who was entrusted to take a whole bunch of treasure to a new king in Israel. I had no idea how far away Israel was, but I was about to find out. Once we left the palace, we followed a striking bright light in the sky, and as we traveled across the dry and sometimes lonely desert, luckily my big broad feet are good for walking across gravel and sand. All the while, I was bearing the old teacher on my back and leading the other camels on the way to visit the new king. Being a camel, I didn't need much food or water because I had all those large humps on my back to store all the energy that I needed for the long journey. As I traveled through the deep valleys and the tall mountains, I took in all the amazing sights. I kept blinking my long eyelashes to keep the sand out of my eyes. Eventually, we came to a huge, wonderful city. There, the kind teacher patted my head and assured me that our journey was nearly over. He and his students went into a grand palace to speak to a king. I was sure that this was the king, but when they came out, the teacher said that we had a little bit further to go, but I didn't mind. We saddled back up, and we set off to a little town. The star led us toward a small town just down the road from the big city. Where do you think that was, Whitney? What little town was it?
Don't know.
You don't know? What do you think? You got any guesses?
Bethlehem,
Bethlehem, the little town of Bethlehem. That sounds about right. So after walking for months and months, my feet were starting to get tired, and my humps needed nourishment. While the teacher and the students were being very kind to me and the other camels, I could use some rest. I hear you, man.
Yeah.
I could use some rest sometimes about this time of the year too.
Yes.
We're almost to the little town now. I sure hope the teacher and his students can finally meet this new king. I wonder who he is. Or as Nola would say, That's a good question. So, all right, Miss Whitney, would you want to have a camel as a pet?
Well, sure, why not?
Yeah.
I mean,
Wait, why not?
we have a little bit of a good-sized backyard,
Yeah.
but as far as just having enough water to...
Just think of all the people that would come by your house, man.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to have a nativity petting zoo.
Yeah.
I've always wanted a camel. That's why I chose this story. I've always wanted a camel, a donkey, all the fun stuff about
want it all, huh?
Yeah. So here's another question. When you're traveling, what do you miss most from home? What do you miss from home?
Probably my bed.
Your bed.
Yeah.
You're getting that old, huh? You miss your bed.
All right.
You gotta have your bed.
Yes.
Okay, pretty good. All right, one more question. Why do you think many people still don't know about baby Jesus being born? What do you think? Any ideas on that?
No, I mean, I was blessed to be raised in church, but there's not a lot of people who are raised in church like I was, so they just may not know.
Yeah.
You know, their mom and dad may not have taken them to church.
So that's why it's so important for us to tell other people about baby Jesus being born. All right, well, thank y'all so much for joining us for day 23. Tomorrow is the 24th. It's Christmas Eve. How exciting. Fun times, you know. So we're almost to the end, so I hope that you'll keep joining us. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.